Welcome to day 12 of Flash Briefing February. It's the skill set, the mindset and the marketing to build a better briefing. And hopefully we are building all of that intelligence with you over the course of these 28 days of February. So we've spoken about all sorts of different things, about the content, about the style, about music, about logos, all sorts of different things. Today we're talking about the duration. Length matters, as they say. And ironically, today's episode is actually going to be quite short because shortness, brevity is kind of the key, isn't it, to having a fantastic briefing, Suze?
Yeah, it really is. And it's a little bit, you have to really think about how people are listening to these flash briefings. You know, they're packed into this playlist that people have enabled. And, you know, if you're anything like me, you kind of yell at Alexa, what's my news first thing in the morning? And, you know, I'm making sandwiches for the lunchbox. I've got the kids rushing about, the washing machine's probably on, the kettle's going. There's 100 other things going on. So really what I'm after is really short, snappy news and audio from the smart speaker to update me on those topics that I've chosen to listen about. But it does kind of need to be short, because otherwise, you know, I'm not there listening in a very kind of active way. It is a very, very passive listen. And while I want to hear from these providers each day, you know, if I wanted to listen to longer form content, then I would probably sort of look at their listen to their podcast or something like that, rather than their flash briefing. Listening to a flash briefing is a very specific type of listen, I think. So keeping the flash briefing short is really, really important. Now, you know, Amazon, Alexa say you can have it up to 10 minutes, and some people do. Some people are creating 10-minute flash briefings. In my mind, that is really a podcast, a short podcast at that. But, you know, I think really the sweet spot that we seem to be finding with flash briefing creators is that your content needs to be a couple of minutes. So kind of 2 minutes long is a really good listen for people before they then move on to the next provider and listen to somebody else. Isn't that right, Peter?
Absolutely. You know what? I've got a good way of kind of remembering this. Suze, you have been to networking events, you've been to conferences, you've been to dinner parties, you've been to New Year's Eve parties, and you're stuck speaking to somebody who is just so boring and goes on and on and on. And every minute seems like an hour. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's not just the duration, but it's also the perception of the duration. Because you know what? You could have a flash briefing that is 2 or 3 minutes long. But if it's full of verve and vitality, it's read by a human being, it's got some sound effects in there, it's got a fantastic but short theme tune. We spoke about theme tunes a couple of days ago and so on. If it's cram full of fantastic information, which is presented in an exciting and informative, enthusiastic way, then it's actually going to feel much shorter. You could have a 1 minute flash briefing that feels as though it's 2 or 3 minutes, because it is dull, it is slow, it is repetitive, and it is boring. So what we're saying is not just the duration, but the perception of the duration as well. And we've spoken about some of those different elements, about the presentation, to have a human voice, about the use of music, about the use of sound effects, about your content in previous days of the course. So if you haven't heard those already, it's all online, and do go back to previous days of Flash Briefing February. And also, as part of that, what I say is dive straight in. So have your theme tune, but after a couple of seconds, start talking, start giving people the meat and potatoes, tell them why they should be listening. No preamble, but just get straight on with it. People, as Suze was saying, do not have the time or the wherewith. The clue, Suze, is twice in the name, isn't it? Flash briefing. It's got to be done in a flash. It's got to be brief. I don't know how much more straightforward Amazon is going to make it for people to say, guys, keep it short.
That's it. And actually, it's a lot to do with discoverability as well, actually, if you think about it, Peter, because you want someone to listen to the entirety of your flash briefing from beginning to end. That kind of gives you brownie points in being discovered in the skills store. You're kind of playing to the algorithm a little bit. And the idea is that if someone's listening to your briefing all the way through, then it will get kind of promoted a little bit more when people are searching for briefings, because it will be spotted as kind of really valuable content. People are listening, so it must be good. So we'll serve this out to more people to see if more people would like to listen to it. So actually, if people aren't getting to the end of your briefing, that might actually cause a bit of a problem for you in terms of being found. And as I've said before, you know, you're putting all this effort and energy into putting together a flash briefing. You want people out there to know it's there and to be able to find it and enable it. So yeah, creating a piece of content that someone's going to listen to from beginning to end is really quite important for lots of different reasons. And also it makes it far more manageable for you to create as a creator. We spoke yesterday about needing 365 days of content. You know, surely that's much more doable when you imagine that that's kind of a 2-minute piece of content each day. So yeah, here we are on Flash Briefing February. Peter, what will we be speaking about again tomorrow?
So tomorrow, kind of associated with this, because obviously there's a bit of a theme. We've put these in a certain order, updating your briefing. So you've got the content, you know, the duration, as Suze was just saying, and now we're going to be talking about tomorrow about updating your briefing. In the meantime, don't forget you can sign up for our newsletter. It brings you all sorts of tech and tips and tricks to give you the skill set, the mindset, and the marketing to building a better briefing. It's out every Friday. Suze, how do people sign up for that?
Yeah, you can sign up for that at voiceworks.info, which is our website. You can sign up there, pop your email address in, and it gets sent out every Friday. As Peter says, it's the skill set, the mindset, and the marketing to creating a flash briefing. It's also quite good for podcasters, anyone who's kind of into audio production, lots of different links to things, and sometimes some discount codes too. So yeah, definitely one to sign up for if you're interested in creating audio. So yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow for day 13 of Flash Briefing February. But for today, we'll say goodbye.
Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.